Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a special episode of the Nerd Enthusiast podcast. Today, we got myself, we got Wes from the video game podcast, and we got Lenny, who's the behind-the-scenes guy here at Nerd Enthusiast. Today, we're all getting together to pay our respects to the man, the myth, the legend, the Batman GOAT, Kevin Conroy. Definitive Batman, 100%.
He will always be Batman.
Yes, 100%, man. Like, ever since Batman the Animated Series, like he's strictly been my definitive Batman. Like whenever anyone asks me, like, who's your favorite Batman? Keaton, Affleck, Bale, whatever. To me, it's always Kevin Conroy.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I don't know, but like when you guys read a comic, whose voice do you hear?
Kevin Conroy's.
Kevin Conroy.
That definitive, I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Yeah, the dude has been involved in 60 projects. Some of our favorite animated episodes, our favorite animated movies, video games, like the Arkham Knight series. Come on.
Oh man, I was so excited when they announced Kevin Conroy was going to be the voice of Batman.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, you can't get better than that.
No, I mean, you're to be. Yeah, especially Mark Hamill was involved in that too. I mean, come on. Come on. Like that game was those games were so good, and it just like kind of puts the icing on the cake of like having Kevin Conroy be the voice of Batman. Like if you had Mark Hamill and then you had someone else being Batman, it just wouldn't have felt right. Like that chemistry those two have together is just priceless. Like they just feed off each other. It's so good.
Agreed. I definitely agreed.
Honestly, the two of them as Batman and Joker, that animated series is so classic, but I think the two of their voice talents married with just the new animation styles and everything that show had going for it really just was the icing on the cake of it all.
Yeah. And like the way he got that role, like he blew everyone away so much, like in the writer's room, like all the producers and stuff, that like he walked in, did his voice, and they were just like, all right, we're done. No more auditions. we found our guy. And that was what, 94, and he's been Batman ever since.
And man, yeah. And the funny thing is with him, he wasn't just Batman. He also did Bruce Wayne in a totally different voice, which was really cool.
Yeah, I always liked him because like even the guys you like Keaton's voice, you like Christian Bale's voice, whoever you like, they're putting on like a voice. Kevin Conroy talks and he just naturally sounds like that. He just kind of drops it an octave. But like when he's Bruce Wayne, he does, in my opinion, not only the best Batman, but the best Bruce Wayne. Like he can make you be scared out of your mind that he's going to beat the crap out of you and just completely demolish you. But then also he could like make you cry by like being like the most compassionate version of Bruce Wayne ever. Like the what is it? Heart of Ice episodes, the Mr. Freeze episodes.
Those are the best.
Oh, dude, those are my favorite. That and the Two-Face episode. Like you could tell he feels so much for Harvey in that, and Kevin puts like he just puts on a display that can't be matched when it comes to like pulling on your heartstrings for a guy who's dressed up like a fucking bat.
Well, even the one episode of Justice League Unlimited where they where old Bruce Wayne ended up meeting young Batman. It's like listening to the two of them have a conversation. Like, okay,
that's that's the interrogation scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you're not expecting to have that much of a distinguish between like, okay, this is old Bruce Wayne and this is Batman, but like you could sit there with your eyes closed and be like, okay, this is actually two separate people having a conversation with each other.
Yeah, because his Batman Beyond voice was a little bit different, but he put such a different touch on it that was familiar but also unique compared to like what we already knew him as in the previous animated series. It was awesome. Him just being like a grumpy old man that like he wants to be Batman forever, but he can't because his body's not holding up and he has to like step back when he doesn't want to. I forget the episode, but there's one really cool thing. He's talking about someone brainwashing him or something, and he's like, I knew that it wasn't really me because in my head he was calling me Bruce.
The voice kept calling me Bruce. In my mind, that's not what I call myself.
What do you call yourself? Oh, yeah. I suppose you would.
never refer to myself as that.
Yeah,
Because
I remember that
he
episode.
calls himself Batman. Like in his head, he's like Bruce Wayne is a disguise. Batman is who he really is, and that's just fantastic.
I remember that episode. That was a great episode.
Yeah, it was.
You know, when Batman Beyond came out, I'm glad they kept it in continuity, and I'm glad they kept Kevin Conroy as the voice of Bruce Wayne. So it was I was so upset when they killed that series.
Oh, I know that series is gold. Everything about that series is gold.
Beyond ahead of its time.
Yeah. It was for everything from like being painted like on black paper to start, like the foundation of the artwork, to the to the voice direction, how it felt like real actors on a cartoon versus like cartoony voices on top of like a cartoon. Like they wanted to get like the Warner Brothers Keaton Batman movies just came out, so they kind of wanted to roll with that feeling of like a not like Adam West style, and they fucking nailed it. You know what I mean? Like every version of Batman since then has been like, okay, it's good, but it's not as good as Kevin Conroy.
Definitely not. It was just, I remember watching the first episode on Fox. I think it came on like Sunday night, and it was the one with Man Bat. I think that was the very first episode they
What is that? On Broken Wings, I think it's called.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
And you know, just said it said chills just to hear his voice for the first time. It was like, wow, he's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was phenomenal. It's like, man, his voice, and then it just stuck. It stuck.
Well, it's stuck enough that like he literally played Batman until recently. He was involved in that new Batman series that I think HBO canceled. It was supposed to be like a darker version. I forget what the name of it was called, but he was working on that new series. And that unfortunately didn't happen. Hopefully, maybe now that if they started working on it, they'll actually like bring it to life. If they did do any of the voice acting stuff or like any like production on it so far, that could be cool.
Yeah, I was glad DC saw what they had in Kevin Conroy as being Batman, because after the animated series, you know, they transitioned him to the movies. For Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm, dude, that is my favorite Batman movie, including all the live action ones. Hands down, that movie is so underrated. It wasn't advertised enough when it came out, so it was like a box office flop, unfortunately. But that movie is so good.
It is good.
The whodunit. You got Mark Hamill in there as the Joker and Kevin Conroy doing his thing as always. And that movie is just chef's kiss with that movie. That movie is just gold.
It was a nice take back too, because the series had kind of been like off for a second. So it was nice to kind of have that just back to that feel of the animation again. Yeah.
And then you even have the Batman Beyond movie, The Return of the Joker.
That was so good.
Oh, yeah.
That movie's so good too. Like, even though like, you know, he's just like a background side character in that movie, but that movie's great too. Super dark movie. That whole Tim Drake scene when he's getting like tortured by the Joker, fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you know, there were two different versions, two different cuts of that movie.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I saw it when it was released, and I was like, okay, I mean, I loved it, and then there was like the director's cut with the extra scenes put back in, which made it a little bit more violent, more dark.
Yeah. If you own the hard copy of it now, it has that in it. But if you saw it on TV or whatever, it was the other version.
Yeah.
So like he like, not only that, like he did the Arrowverse crossover. Like we finally got to see him as like a live action Bruce. Like we only got to see like the cape and cowl like collecting dust in the Batcave, but like seeing him, like it was kind of like what is it? Kind of like Kingdom Come Batman, broken down. He had like all the robotics like parts on him, like helping his broken body like just to walk. But like you get like a dark take on him there. Like you actually see him like driven down to a murderer. He's like, because once you kill one person, then another, then another, and then another, and you hear him like just kind of bring that voice down to like that scary level, and it's just so good. And then you got the Injustice games. Oh, I'm sorry, Lenny.
I was gonna say that was his first like on-screen appearance, and I think I read in like 25 years. Like he had only really been doing voice stuff and just rocking out that way. And for him to have the opportunity to step out from behind the booth and really like be able to, not necessarily put the cowl on, but even so, like he was in the Batcave, you still felt that Batman feel, cowl or not.
Yes.
So he just had a way of capturing Batman in a way that just hasn't been able to be replicated yet.
No, man, like nothing against like Roger Craig Smith, who was Batman Arkham Origins, all the last like 10 years of DC animated movies. I love the movies, but every time I watch them, I'm like, okay, it's good, but I wish it was Kevin Conroy or like Troy or Troy Baker when he was Batman in Arkham Origins. It was good, but it wasn't Kevin Conroy. So like everyone will always have to step up to that bar when they're stepping in the booth to do Batman's voice. And if you could even hang with them, that's a compliment on its own.
Yeah, I met
Especially for a
him at
character.
a Comic-Con, and took a picture with him, and he was very nice, very pleasant. And me, the total fanboy, I was like, you probably heard this, and I hope I don't offend you, but you will always be Batman in my eyes.
Yes. And I've heard that unfortunately I haven't had the pleasure, never had the pleasure to meet him, but supposedly he's like awesome at cons. He's like very involved with like taking pictures of like a big group of fans, and like he'll go out and just talk to fans and not just be like when he's signing autographs and then he's just out.
No, he was there. He was engaged. He was like, he was willing to talk.
Yeah.
Normally at cons, you get to a celebrity and they're like, sign next. He stopped and took the time to talk to me. And I was in my awe. I couldn't believe it. I was total fanboy, total geeked out, and he's gonna be missed, man. He really is. He really is gonna be missed.
Yeah, he's gonna be missed. He definitely passed away, unfortunately, way too young, only 66. And no matter whoever blows us away in the future with their Batman, it's never gonna be up to him. It'll never be up to par to him, even if it's almost there, because he is, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, the true GOAT.
And just think of how many iterations we've had of Batman already in just the last, 70 years or so. So like, it's crazy to think that everybody else in the future is now going to have some sort of, well, Kevin Conroy was like my inspiration for this. They're going to have that bit of Kevin that lives inside of them.
Yep.
Comes out through their Batman.
And thank God we're lucky where we got him for almost 30 years. We have all the movies, all the video games. You know what I mean? Everything where we could rewatch it as much as we want. And we are lucky enough to have grown up in that time. So when I read a comic, until the day I die, I will always hear Kevin Conroy's voice as I'm reading the pages.
Always. Yeah, it was, and it's funny how the impact he has had, not just the three of us here, but, a lot of people who are into Batman, and the funny thing is, it's like you said earlier, he wasn't on the screen. You never saw his face. We just heard his voice. And that says a lot.
Yeah.
That's
someone who's never even put the cape and cowl on is all of our definitive Batman. You know what I mean? Like all of our version. So yeah, we just wanted to kind of pop in here and give our little tribute, give our respects, and definitely gone way too soon. But yeah, he'll always live on through the memories of the fans, and it's sad to realize that we're never going to have another Kevin Conroy Batman performance.
Yeah, fingers crossed that they got enough voice recordings to do some future projects.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
Hopefully.
All right, but on that note, guys, Lenny, where could they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok at LeoV7373.
Wes, where could they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Grendel5XPX, or you can catch me at Level Up Entertainment if you're ever in the South Jersey, Atlantic City area.
And you can find me, Comic Book Guy, on Instagram and Twitter, and definitely check out all of our socials here at Nerdthusiast. And until next time, guys, appreciate you hanging out. Later.
Have a good one.